Welcome back to Agro TV, where vintage iron still tells new stories. Today we count down 10 classic tractors that vanished from the fields forever. These weren't just machines. They were turning points that changed how farms worked, then faded as progress rushed past. You'll hear the roar of early mass-produced workhorses that put power within reach of smallholders, the steady thrum of diesels that traded speed for unstoppable torque, and the clatter of crawlers that kept moving where wheels only dug holes. You'll meet the pioneers of live PTO and draft-sensing hydraulics, and the bold attempts to bring real comfort to long days. Enclosed cabs, heaters, wipers, even radios. Some models vanished because parts dried up, others were priced beyond hard times, and many were overtaken by newer machines that did the same jobs cheaper, safer, and faster. Yet their fingerprints remain on every modern tractor. The clean lift of a 3-point hitch, the reliable pull at low revs, the sealed cab that saves your hearing, the transport speed that turns distance into minutes. In the next few minutes we'll revive their stories, celebrate the ideas they pioneered, and explain why they finally left the field. If you love the smell of cut hay and the sound of a flywheel settling into load, you're in the right place. This is Agro TV. Let's fire them up one more time. Old iron still shapes today. Number 10. Fendt Dieselross F15, 1930 to 1958. Born as the Dieselross that pulled Bavaria out of horsepower, the Fendt F15 proved that a compact, frugal diesel could mechanize small mixed farms. Its air-cooled MWM 2-cylinder, close-coupled transmission, and simple belt and PTO made it a nimble, reliable helper for mowing, raking, hauling, and threshing. Farmers loved the light footprint, the tight turning, and the way it sipped fuel while starting easily in cold weather. Yet prosperity reshaped expectations. Implements grew wider, transport speeds rose, and operators wanted more horsepower, synchronized gears, and comfort cabs. As Fendt scaled up with the favorite and farmer families, the F15's humble chassis felt outgrown. Part standardization and dealership focus moved to newer lines, and the little Dieselross faded from catalogs. Its legacy, however, is everywhere. Efficient diesels on small acreage, draft-sensing hydraulics that react cleanly, and the idea that precision and thrift can beat raw mass. Restorers still prize the F15 because it taught European agriculture a lesson that never expired. Build small, build smart, and let careful engineering turn limited fuel into honest work. Today it appears at rallies with hay tedders and binder demonstrations, its soft diesel knock reminding fans why farmers trusted it. Number 9. Nuffield Universal, 1948 to 1961. Launched in post-war Britain, the Nuffield Universal put modern power within reach of family farms. It used tough BMC engines, first petrol paraffin, then efficient diesels, bolted into a straightforward chassis with good weight distribution, a live hydraulic system, and a layout that made servicing simple. The Universal name mattered. With adjustable track, PTO and belt options, and a wide catalog of Ferguson pattern implements, it could plow on Monday, mow on Tuesday, and drive a saw bench by Friday. Export success followed, yet progress outpaced it at home. Dealers consolidated under rival brands, parts pipelines shifted toward Leland successors, and buyers wanted synchronized gearboxes, quieter cabs, and more speed on the road. The old tin work and open platform felt dated, and the badge itself was retired as corporate plans changed. That is why the Universal faded from fields, even while many kept running on small holdings and estates. Its legacy endures in fleets that still start after winter's outdoors, in the affordability that helped mechanize hedgerow Britain, and in the lesson that clear design and stout castings outlast fashion. Restored Universals parade at plowing matches, reminding onlookers how a plain, honest tractor carried a nation from ration books to prosperity. Number 8. David Brown 990 Implematic, early 1960s. The David Brown 990 Implematic arrived at the dawn of the 1960s with a clean-sheet hydraulic philosophy. Implements responded to position and draft through a fast-acting linkage, giving small farms precise depth control without luxury price. Its torquey 4-cylinder, strong rear end, and tidy wheelbase made it a capable mower, baler, and plow puller, while the styling signaled a modern, export-minded brand. Operators praised fuel economy, visibility, and the way the Implematic system lifted smoothly at headlands and settled tools right back into the furrow. But the world kept moving. Competitors shifted to even more sophisticated hydraulics and multi-range transmissions. Safety, lighting, and comfort expectations rose. And David Brown rebranded into newer Select-O-Matic lines that standardized parts and features. Dealers focused on the fresh badge, spares pipelines migrated, and the 990 Implematic receded from brochures. Why it vanished is the story of success breeding replacement. Its concept proved so useful that the next generation did it better. Today restorers keep 990s busy raking hay and running augers, a reminder that sharp hydraulics and sensible engineering can turn mid-power tractors into field magicians, and that a good idea never really disappears in all seasons. Anew. Number 7. Ford 9N, 1939 to 1942. The Ford 9N arrived in 1939 like a door opening on a new era. Born from the handshake deal between Henry Ford and Harry Ferguson, it combined a compact four-cylinder engine with the Ferguson system, the draft-sensing three-point hydraulic hitch that made a tractor and its implement work as one. Farmers who had struggled with clumsy tow chains and hand-lifted tools discovered headlands without stalling, plows that rode at a steady depth, mowers that lifted cleanly, and a machine light enough to be kind to soil yet strong enough to replace teams. Grease points and filters were reachable, the gearbox offered useful ratios, and the little Ford could run a baler or a saw from the PTO as easily as it pulled a trailer. It was inexpensive to buy, easy to learn, and backed by a vast car-style dealer network, so parts were never far away. Why did it vanish? Wartime priorities, corporate rifts, and rapid progress. Production shifted to the 2N during shortages, the Ford-Ferguson partnership dissolved, and within a decade the improved 8N upstaged its parent with more gears and refinements. By the mid-1950s, bigger implements and longer days demanded more horsepower, live PTO, and better lighting, and the 9N felt small. Many were sold on, then worked to death, an unintended complement to their usefulness. Today restored 9NS still mow pastures, rake hay, and haul firewood, their flathead fours ticking evenly and their hydraulics answering the lever like an old friend. Walk around one and you can read the blueprint of modern farming. The standardized three-point triangle. The idea that an operator should control depth with fingertips, not luck. The belief that affordable engineering can multiply a family's labor. The model faded, but its system remains everywhere. Proof that a truly good idea outlives the badge on its hood. The 9N did not win by brute size. It won by making daily work predictable and safer for hands and by teaching buyers to expect control, depth, efficiency now. Number 6. Massey Ferguson 35, 1956 to 1964. The Massey Ferguson 35 arrived in the late 1950s as the practical face of the newly merged company, blending Harry Ferguson's draft-sensing three-point system with tidy, efficient power. Most famous was the Perkins A 3.152 diesel, a light-sipping, long-legged engine that gave the 35 traction beyond its size. Paired with live hydraulics and a compact wheelbase, it made mowing, raking, cultivating, and loader work feel precise and calm. Controls fell to hand, visibility was honest, and the tractor's balance on slopes inspired confidence. Options such as multi-power added more working ratios. Orchard and industrial variations widened its reach, and export success carried the 35 to estates and smallholdings on several continents. Why did it vanish? Success breeds replacement. As implements grew wider and seasons more demanding, buyers wanted more horsepower, synchronized gears, improved lighting, and later the comfort of cabs and power steering. Massey answered with the 100 series led by the MF 135, which kept the Ferguson geometry but wrapped it in stronger axles and broader capability. Dealers concentrated parts pipelines on the new line, and the 35 gracefully stepped aside from frontline duty. Yet its legacy is stitched into modern utilities. The expectation that a mid-power tractor should lift smoothly, hold draft at depth, and sip fuel while doing 2 or 3 jobs a day without complaint. Restored examples still start after winter. Run a square baler or a post-hole auger, and steer neatly into tight barns where bigger machines feel clumsy. It taught operators that fingertip hydraulics and predictable balance are worth as much as raw horsepower. It taught accountants that efficiency keeps lights on through lean seasons, and it taught engineers that service access and simple linkages earn loyalty long past the warranty. The model faded, but the idea endures. Build small, build clever, and let careful geometry and a thrifty diesel multiply the hands on a family place. Number 5. Coxhut 30, 1946 to 1957. The Coxhut 30, built in Ontario after the war, earned a permanent footnote as the first North American production tractor with a truly independent live PTO. That one mechanism changed the rhythm of work. At a headland, the operator could halt ground travel while the mower or baler kept turning. A picker or thresher stayed alive while a jam was cleared. An auger ran evenly without feathering the clutch. Matched to sensible gearing, a tidy 4-cylinder engine, and straightforward hydraulics, the 30 felt composed and capable on mixed farms. It came in row crop, standard, and orchard forms, moving from corn rows to fruit blocks with ease, and its sheet metal looked modern without being precious. Service points were accessible, components rebuildable, and the tractor's manners on slopes and headlands built trust with tired operators. So why did it vanish? Not because the idea failed, but because it spread. Competitors adopted independent PTO, refined hydraulic control, and added horsepower. Implements grew wider, transport expectations rose, and by the mid-1950s farmers wanted more ratios, brighter lighting, safer brakes, and, soon, enclosed comfort. Coxhut answered with larger models and, later, corporate changes that redirected engineering and dealer focus, leaving the 30 a victim of its own success. Thousands worked out long careers on small acreages until spares consolidation and modernization retired them to hedgerows and sheds. Today, restorers value the way a healthy 30 lifts smoothly, runs a baler with headland ease, and idles an auger all afternoon without drama. Its legacy is twofold: a technical standard that became normal across brands, and a human lesson that real productivity comes from control as much as from power. Stand beside one at a show, engage the PTO without grinding, watch the blade pick up cleanly, and hear the engine settle. That is the sound of North America learning that tractors and implements should be partners, working as a single system. Number 4. Hart-Parr 30, 1917. Introduced in 1917, the Hart-Parr 30 arrived at the moment when horse teams were still common and steam traction was fading, and it tried to bottle the virtues of both. It used a slow-turning kerosene 2-cylinder with long strokes and big flywheels, delivering steady drawbar pull rather than headline speed. On steel lugs, the 30 could break prairie, drag discs through gumbo, and then belt up to threshers and pumps with the calm heartbeat that made Hart-Parr old reliable. Its frame was heavy, bearings generous, and service points open so a careful owner with grease could keep it working. It also symbolized a company that coined the word tractor and taught farmers that internal combustion power could be sized for the family place. Why did it vanish? Because agriculture moved quickly beyond the 30's strengths. Row crop cultivation demanded adjustable tread, nimble steering, and better sight lines. Buyers wanted more working ratios, smoother multi-cylinder power, and, soon, hydraulic control and standardized hitches that let a single operator change tools fast. Against that tide, the 30's big chassis, rigid steel wheels, and belt drive felt like yesterday's answer. After the war, economics and corporate change accelerated the shift. Hart-Parr merged into Oliver, dealers consolidated lines, and new models delivered more power per pound with modern ergonomics. Many 30's went to secondary duties where honest torque still paid the hay bill, but the front line moved on. The legacy remained. Kerosene could replace coal and oats. Reliability, not flash, wins a harvest, and the industry learns by building bridges between eras. Watch a good 30 at a show, flywheels coasting, exhaust popping, and you can read a century of progress in its silhouette. It vanished from the fields, yet it never left the story, because the modern row crop tractor still carries the Hart-Parr promise that steady, controllable power in one operator's hands can change the cadence of work on every acre. Number 3. Lanz Bulldog D9506, 1921 to 1960. The Lanz Bulldog D9506 is the archetypal European field mule, a single-cylinder hot bulb tractor that would run on diesel, kerosene, furnace oil, or whatever a farm could spare. Built from the 1920s through 1960, it combined brutal simplicity with surprising versatility. A big horizontal piston thumped at low RPM under a cast-iron hood, flywheels smoothed the pulses, and a simple injection and vaporizing system made fuel quality almost irrelevant. Starting was a ritual with blowtorch and hot bulb, but once warm the Bulldog lugged through clay, hauled beet carts, and powered threshers all day on sips of rough fuel. Farmers loved that they could rebuild it with ordinary tools. Road crews and forestry operators valued its ability to crawl, tow, and survive abuse. Why did it vanish from mainstream fields? Time, speed, and vibration. Post-war agriculture demanded higher road speeds, smoother multi-cylinder diesels, and conveniences like electric starting, live hydraulics, and three-point hitches. The Bulldog's single-lung shook implements, its hot bulb ritual cost minutes each morning, and its narrow gear spread limited versatility on fast roads. Emissions and noise standards also arrived, and the market shifted toward compact, high-speed diesels with improved pumps and better sealing. When John Deere acquired Lanz and built modern tractors at Mannheim, the Bulldog era closed. New green models carried forward the factory, not the formula itself. Yet the D9506 still defines independence to enthusiasts. It proved that multi-fuel practicality could keep a farm running in scarcity, that simplicity can be a virtue, and that character matters. Watch one at a rally. The blowtorch's hiss, the first cough, the deep thud as the flywheel settles. It is a living diagram of torque. The Bulldog vanished from daily duty, but its silhouette and stubborn heartbeat remain icons of European farming's leap from scarcity to plenty. Number 2. Minneapolis Moline UDLX Comfort Tractor, 1938. Minneapolis Moline's UDLX Comfort Tractor was a moonshot in 1938, a farm tractor dressed like a car and geared to travel. Under the sleek hood, a 6-cylinder engine and road-friendly gearing let it cruise to town. Around the operator, a steel cab offered doors, glass, heater, wiper, gauges, and even a radio. It could plow in the morning, then carry the family to town in the afternoon. A radical promise when most farmers sat on steel seats in dust and weather. The concept was right, but the moment was wrong. Priced near a new automobile, during the tail of the Depression, few buyers could justify comfort and speed over sheer acres plowed. Dealers struggled to explain a hybrid that was neither ordinary tractor nor conventional car, and the tiny production run ended quickly. As implements grew wider after the war, the UDLX's visibility and mass counted against it, while conventional tractors gained better hydraulics, live PTOs, and eventually cabs. Yet measure the UDLX by influence, not invoices, and it looks prophetic. It normalized the idea that an operator's comfort is productivity, previewed sealed cabs with heat, defrost, and noise control, and hinted that transport time matters to a farm's economics. Modern tractors sprint between fields at highway-adjacent speeds, with HVAC, suspension seats, and automotive dashboards. Features the UDLX imagined when such thinking felt like luxury. Farmers who used one learned that arriving warm and rested increased acres covered per day, and that real road speed saved time between scattered fields. Its sealed doors, lighting, and car-like controls previewed modern cab thinking. Number 1. Caterpillar 60, 1925. The Caterpillar 60 stands at the hinge point between wheeled prairie brutes and the modern world of track-layer traction. Born from the Holt/Best lineage and carried forward after the 1925 Caterpillar merger, it used twin steel tracks, a broad stance, and a slow revving 4-cylinder to turn fuel into steady pull on soils that laughed at lugs. In gumbo mud, sand, hillsides, and new breaking prairie, it kept moving when wheels dug holes. Behind it came wide plows, graders, and threshing rigs belted to a big flywheel. Owners praised its balance and serviceable layout, accessible gearbox, rugged finals, simple cooling and lubrication, while operators perched high with clear sightlines, trading road speed for authority at a walking pace. Why did the 60 fade? Because its idea won. Diesel arrived, undercarriages evolved with sealed rollers, frames grew stronger, steering clutches improved, and the D-Series crawlers delivered more power with less maintenance. Meanwhile, agriculture shifted. Pneumatic tires and faster wheel tractors claimed the middle ground, transport speeds grew, and the cost of greasing rollers and nursing steel tracks was hard to justify on scattered farms. Within Caterpillar, standardized designs and parts consolidation pushed buyers toward newer models that did the 60s job with better economy and comfort. Yet its legacy is everywhere traction matters. Each time a rubber track machine floats across wet ground or a dozer noses into a cut, the 60s logic, spread weight, gear for torque, keep composed, speaks. Collectors keep survivors for plow days, and operators study its silhouette to see how early crawlers changed what was possible. Measured by invoices, the 60 vanished. Measured by influence, it never left. It taught farming and earthmoving that traction is its own technology, that steady drawbar at low speed covers more acres than headline power, and that progress often means letting a great machine yield to a better execution of its idea.